Hi everyone, happy Sunday. I'm meteorologist Alexa Minton here with you to give you a quick update in regards to our forecast for the day. I already see some people responding in the comments. Let's see if I can get everyone. I see we have someone from Williamsburg. Hi Williamsburg. Hello Somerset, Wheelwright, Perry County. Hi Doris, Rockcastle, Hazard, and another Somerset. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. We've got a lot of happening across the board in our forecast. If you guys have any questions in regards to this severe weather that we might be seeing later tonight in the overnight, feel free to drop in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them during the live stream, but if not, I will also do my best to answer them after the live stream as well. But let's go ahead and dive right in because we got two things that I want to focus on today. Severe weather, and we're also going to watch a little bit of a shift in our setup in regards to what we can expect. So let's dive right in. I heard some people mentioning cloud cover across the board, and we're starting to see that here in Lexington. I mean, looking at these Kentucky weather cams, there is a little bit of rain building up across the board. Not rain, sorry, cloud cover building up across the board. We're mostly calm at the moment, but as we head deeper and deeper towards these evening hours, we're going to watch that shift slowly as we kind of head towards parts of the overnight tonight. This storm system is moving super duper slow. If I have any weather nerds out there in the chat, which I'm hoping I do, you guys might be just as excited about this as I am. We have these things that we kind of track in regards to rainfall called mid-latitude cyclones, right? They sound scarier than they are, but basically that's what brings us, you know, our different waves of rain. And we see two actively kind of like right next to each other. If you guys look at these two comma shapes we see on our first alert radar network at the moment, the first one brought us the rain we experienced part of the night last night into the early morning hours. And we can see most of that rain is starting to dissipate and it's pushing out of our hair, getting out of the way for us. But then we see another one paired right next to it. And it's bringing about, it's a little bit bigger, more thick of a comma shape across parts of the board. And we're going to start to watch most of that cloud cover wrapping around. And that's what's going to affect us in the overnight tonight. So I don't know. This is just a very cool setup for all you weather nerds out there enjoying this. The fact that we've got two mid-latitude cyclones almost rotating right next to each other, and that's what gave us the rain last night, and it's going to give us more rain as we look towards this evening. In regards to everyone's current conditions, I've seen our friend Janice saying Somerset, you guys are pretty cloudy. I'm guessing it's mostly low-level clouds at the moment, but I tell you, you're going to be watching a pickup in breeze, and we're going to start talking about winds here in a second, because that's what we're going to want to focus in our overnight. If you're in parts of eastern Kentucky, we've seen a lot of rainfall for you all this morning. I think most of it is almost all out of the way. And as we head towards those afternoon hours, we're all going to have this like false sense of security, right? We can see a break literally happening in parts of the cloud cover. It's starting to creep into parts of central Kentucky. We're going to end up seeing some sunshine in parts of the afternoon, which is always, I think, a little bit of a looming concern because we're going to see temperatures warm a little bit, setting ourselves up for maybe a little bit of activity as we head into parts of the overnight. Now, I want to talk really briefly in regards to temperatures. This is really interesting to me. We've been keeping our eye on this like heat dome that we've kept in parts of the southern Great Plains, and it's kind of been affecting our temperatures a little bit over the past couple weeks. We've seen like maybe upper 80s and stuff like that, but we're not too worried about it. In regards to what we are going to see in the next couple of days for our temperature trend, look at this. We're going to go from warmer temperatures today to dropping substantially thanks to a cold front pushing through parts of the region. We're going to be below average for what we expect this time of year in our temperatures, going down to a high of maybe 82 on Tuesday. I'm a fan of the 70 degrees, so I will be looking forward towards Tuesday in regards to our temperature setup. Same thing in regards to kind of how we can expect this setup to roll about. You know, we've been more so influenced by the Gulf moisture. We're going to see next week we're more so influenced by this big trough that's kind of pushing down some of that cooler moisture from parts north of the Great Lakes. But now that's the end of our like side quest for the day. We're going to really focus in on our hour by hour so we can kind of give everyone an idea about what we can expect. I see Braden's got a question about first alert weather day mode for severe threat today and tomorrow. Braden, I reached out to everyone's favorite chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey. He is looking at some of the models right now. We're kind of gauging the risk. You might see one tonight. But we're going to break down this whole specific threat in our hour by hour forecast. So as we start off our afternoon, like I mentioned, click too fast on the graphics, guys. We're going to go really quickly, right? We see nothing happening around the 2 o'clock hour. We warm up in temperatures. We're watching things kind of calm down. So a lot of people are probably going to be going to bed or watching those dinner time hours thinking that there's not a lot happening. In fact, 7 o'clock on Sunday, maybe when everyone's starting to wind down for the evening, there's not a lot happening. It's once we start to look towards 10 p.m. on Sunday night, that's when we start to see activity pushing into our range. You guys can see some of that heavy rain for parts of Indiana and Illinois, and it's going to push in the overnight into our area. So if you guys have any sort of weather alert system, I know we've had issues with weather radios in the past, so download that WKYT weather app, turn on your alert notifications, because this is coming in the overnight. I can't stress that enough. So if you are asleep and you're not keeping your eye on this, this could bring about some pretty heavy rain. We see this band push, really centralizing, hitting our friends in parts of Owensboro, Fort Knox, Louisville, Lawrenceburg, honestly, Frankfort, Lexington, Cynthiana. You guys are going to be getting some heavy risks as well in parts of the overnight. So we kind of want to keep this up. This is 2:45 in the morning on Monday, right? Once we're all waking up, getting ready to head out the door, we could still see some widespread rain. You know, we're going to have a rainy Monday setup. We're going to see some little tiny isolated cells of heavier rain. But in regards to what we can kind of expect for, like, I guess that widespread heavy rain, that's mostly going to be in those early morning hours. It loses a little bit of steam by the time we start to head out on our work commute. It's still going to be heavy rainfall. You could see pooling water on roadways. As we see, there's localized heavy rain, so there's always that flash flooding risk that we're going to kind of keep in regards to what we're keeping our eye on. 7:30 in the morning, things start to calm down, but as you can see, that rain really never leaves us in parts of central Kentucky throughout our Monday day. We're just going to continue to see a lot of heavy rain. If you are traveling along 64, even towards our friends in the Virginias, whew, you guys are going to be getting a lot of rain throughout the day. We see some heavier rain pick back up around 2 o'clock for our friends stretching from Mount Sterling over towards Ashland. It's going to continue to be heavy. Now, this isn't the specific threat we're worried about. I wanted to point out Monday, we've got another enhanced risk for parts of the state on Monday, and I'll talk about those in a second. But look at how we see this rain band. It's really thin, it's strong, it's starting to form. It's going to hit Monday evening, dinner time hours, right? We might see some activity. It's going to start down near Russell Springs and stretch all the way up through Prestonsburg. Now, it doesn't look to be ridiculously strong, but when you see narrow bands of rain like this, it can bring about some activity. It'll hit our friends in Williamsburg and Harlan and Hazard as we kind of head towards those evening hours. But Monday, we're also going to keep our eye on as we kind of track this storm. Things should calm down by the time we transition into Tuesday. So we got a lot of activity happening. I wanted to talk specifically about wind gusts because I think that's our biggest threat for parts of the overnight. 3 o'clock, when that storm starts to hit parts of central Kentucky, guys, look at these wind gust forecasts. We see 37 miles an hour in Lawrenceburg, 43 miles an hour in Lexington, 47 miles an hour in Cynthiana. That is strong. It can damage your shingles on your roof. It can damage your trees in your front lawn. It can cause branches to go flying. It's going to be something that we definitely want to keep our eyes on, especially if these wind gusts do end up getting this strong. It's going to cause some widespread damage. But then after we see these wind gusts kind of picking up some steam at 3 o'clock in the morning, look at this, 9:30, we kind of see widespread stronger wind gusts. Now, they aren't as strong as those maybe 50-mile-an-hour winds that we're expecting in the overnight, but it stays pretty strong. We'll see like roughly 30, 20-mile-an-hour winds across the board for a good chunk of the day on Monday. So it's certainly going to be a windy and rainy start to the week. We're definitely going to see a lot of activity. Once we see those storms pick back up, maybe in parts of the afternoon for parts of eastern Kentucky, we're going to also see that we'll see some stronger wind gusts. Then we'll see 33 in Lexington, 31 in Jackson, 36 in Hazard, 34 in Somerset. Again, these aren't as strong, but it's definitely inconvenient. Like, I don't think anyone's going to want to go outside and be like, oh, our winds are calm. These are some strong winds. I always put it in the perspective of going speed limits in neighborhoods are 25 miles an hour, and that's for a vehicle. These are winds we're talking about that could come through, that could, you know, surpass that speed limit in a neighborhood. So I think that puts things in perspective. Now, I saw a couple people talking about different threats. So I just see, oh, I don't want to say your name wrong. We'll say Miss Hall. I think it's Delia Hall or Della Hall. I see that you just asked about hail threats for Perry County. I've seen people asking about different threats. So I'm going to throw up today's severe threat, right? It's shifted. We were seeing a slight risk for parts of the entire state for today. They just updated it. They're mostly keeping it towards us here in central Kentucky and western Kentucky for our threats, right? To break it down categorical wise, we do see a minor, and I'm talking 2% tornado risk for some parts, mostly stretching from Covington down through just a little past Owensboro. That's where we might see the tornado threat if people are worried about tonight or throughout parts of the day. Wind threat, we are going to see a greater wind threat. That swipes right along what we're going to expect for parts of this slight risk that we see. In regards to hail, same thing. We are going to see a hail risk associated with, again, look at that yellow region on our severe threat for today. That's where we're expecting most of our severe risk for parts of today. Now let's jump right into tomorrow. Tomorrow is a little bit different, right? Because I feel like they're neglecting to really focus on that early morning threat that we're seeing, but we're seeing an enhanced, a slight, and a marginal risk littered throughout across the state. Some of our most activity is going to be looking like it could be in parts of central Kentucky, but these strong wind gusts are going to be affecting the entire state. I'm looking at a wind risk that is almost like guaranteed of strong winds, specifically around where we see, our friends in those easternmost counties. I'm looking over all on where you see that orange. That's where we're going to see our greatest wind risk. You guys are going to be getting the highest wind gust for your Monday. Now that slight risk is still going to get some pretty heavy wind gusts throughout parts of the evening, like we just saw on our wind gust forecast. You could be seeing 30, 40 miles an hour for your wind gusts, and that is very strong. It should be definitely warning some caution. In regards to hail, we're going to kind of see a greater hail threat from both those yellow and orange regions. Now, the Storm Prediction Center said that there's like a 15% risk of hail. If you guys are a weather nerd, there's nothing hatched on the Storm Prediction Center, but you could probably I'm going to go ahead and say we'll probably maybe see a few reports of like pea-sized hail. I don't know how big it's going to get. There's certainly a risk, so you're going to want to stay weather aware as we go about. I see Ms. Hall also asked about flash flooding. Any incidents that we're seeing of heavy rainfall right now, we had so much rain in the month of July, specifically in parts of western Kentucky, but honestly across the board. So our soil's really saturated at the moment. So when we're looking at maybe like 2 inches of rainfall in a short amount of time, we could see hydroplaning on the road. So that definitely is a risk. Now, I saw someone ask about a tornado risk. There is a minor risk for Monday as well. I think they're putting them up because there is those minor risks for tornadoes. I see Maria asked about a tornado risk for overnight into Monday. The problem is that yes, they have issued a minor risk. Right now, based on their wind gusts, it's looking like it could be more damaging wind threat than a tornado risk. But because we're going to have such strong damaging winds, they do want to issue that tornado risk out as well. So this was issued by the Storm Prediction Center for today / into tonight. The reason why we're so focused on this storm system, guys, is because it's been moving really slow across the board. And just yesterday, we were projecting it to come maybe at like 10, 11 tonight. But now, since it's moving so slow, it's looking like it's going to come those early morning hours. And it's so dangerous when we see severe weather in the overnight because people go to bed. They don't have any sort of notification system. And then they aren't paying attention to the weather when they go to bed at night. And then all of a sudden, we see damaging wind effects or rain effects and things like this. So we're going to be keeping our eye on it. So a breakdown of our forecast for your day today. There is the severe threat. We'll see rounds of rain starting this evening, strong winds. We're going to have that break in the afternoon, so it's going to end up getting really muggy. I'm talking like 89 degrees for parts of the area. We're looking at some real activity as we look, though, towards the night. And so our forecast breakdown is showing us we've got that late night rain leading into more storm chances and an enhanced threat for Monday. But Tuesday, all of that activity is going to get kicked out of the way. We're not going to see much changing, and it's going to be a much smaller chance for your Tuesday. I see someone asked about Georgetown for timing in the overnight. Again, we're looking at maybe those early Monday morning hours, maybe around 1, 2, 3 o'clock. That's what we're looking at. It looks like the heaviest rain might hit you in Georgetown at around like 2, 3 in the morning. again, this storm system's moving a lot slower than I think a lot of us originally projected. I mean, yesterday when I was with you all, I was saying, oh, it's going to come at 10 or 11, but it's lost a lot of like steam in regards to its speed. So it's coming slower, but we still need to make sure that we're super weather aware about all of it. Now, if you guys have any questions about the severe weather, you can, of course, leave them in the comments. Jason Lindsay is going to be here tonight giving you a full forecast. I'm going to be filling in for Jim the first half of the day tomorrow, so I won't see you all on the Facebook Live, but I'll see you on WKYT mornings if you want to join at 4:30. A lot of you might be up around that time because that's when we're going to start to hear lots of thunder and lightning, so don't worry, we'll be with you guys. I see someone just said we're so ready for winter. I agree. Cannot wait for winter months. Maybe we'll shift more into some active winter weather. But again, keep an eye out. This storm moving slow is definitely providing a new risk because we're going to track it. It's moving slower. It's going to give us a new risk as we go about our day. So you really want to make sure before you guys go to bed tonight, I cannot trust you enough, have some sort of weather alert notification set up in case your power gets knocked out, because we're going to see these damaging winds. Power getting knocked out is definitely a higher risk. So I'm self-plug, right? Download the WKYT weather app so that way we can keep you guys notified whether your power is out or not. Just have those alert systems set up. I know we saw some issues with weather radios earlier this summer in regards to alert notifications, so just make sure you guys have something so you can stay safe, because this storm right now is looking like it's going to be a doozy in parts of the overnight. But I'll see you guys tomorrow morning on WKYT mornings. I hope you all tune in tonight for Jason Lindsay. I guess our thing's messing up in the back. I hope you all tune in tonight for Jason Lindsay. It's going to be his last day here, so please tune in for Jason tonight so we can all show him a little bit of love since it's going to be his last day. We'll miss him very much. But thanks you guys for joining in. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe.